Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thank you all for joining. This series has been awesome. I absolutely love being able to answer your questions in real time, connecting with you. So, my name is Bill Dow. I have 29 years of hands-on experience. Questions have been coming in fast and furious to Bill Dow at dowpublishingllc.com. You guys have been coming up to my Facebook page as well. So, thank you all very much. Definitely keep commenting, liking, subscribing on this YouTube channel. I really appreciate it, and I'm here to help. So, thank you all very much, and let's jump into this week's questions. What is the best software to manage your project documents? This came up from a customer, right? And so this is an awesome question. And I wonder, have you guys seen Teams, Microsoft Teams? Microsoft Teams is absolutely knocking it out of the park. And so they now have these channels. You can set up a project. It's got a back-end SharePoint site. You're able to record your meetings. And so, when you say where's the best software to manage your project documents, I have to say Microsoft Teams. SharePoint has been a staple for years and years, but Microsoft Teams is starting to knock it out of the park. And so you've got that one piece of software that you can use. And so I highly, highly recommend it. A lot of people have been using LAN drives or SharePoint sites, and I'm telling you, if you've got a chance, and I told my customer this as well, definitely check out Microsoft Teams. It is knocking it out of the park, and I think we're only going to see greater things as we keep going. Number 2. Where do I find the best project management templates, right? Yeah, this came up as well, Source Facebook. This came up as well, and so a lot of people look for free templates. And I gotta tell you, there are a lot of sites that do offer free templates once you give them your email address. But there's also a lot of sites that are asking you to pay for templates. And this is because there's a ton of work that's put together to build these templates. And so I have templates for my books. Elizabeth Heron's got templates, Project Manager for Girls. And there's a ton of templates out there. There's just various templates out there. And my question is that you go search for it, go Google it, go Bing it, but don't be afraid to pay for templates. And really because of the amount of work that's put together and the amount of work and time that you save to put a template, get a template as a starting point, and all you have to do is tweak and adjust for your company, I highly recommend that. So is there a source? No, there's multiple sources and there's multiple people putting out some great stuff. So I highly recommend that, and highly recommend that you go out there and check out my stuff on Dow Publishing LLC, my store site. So just Google my store site. Elizabeth's got some great stuff. There's a ton of people with great stuff out there. What is risk tolerance? This came up on Facebook as well. And so you think about, what is risk tolerance? Well, risk tolerance is the amount of tolerance the customer wants to take for a particular risk item. And so when you think about customers' tolerance levels, they're going to have high, medium, and low, right? So a customer with a low tolerance is going to be one that's really, really cautious on every risk item. Medium, they're a little bit less cautious, and then high tolerance, they're going to let a lot more things slide. So when you think about risk tolerance, it really does come back to the team, it comes back to the customer, and how well and how they want to handle the managing of the risks on the project. So definitely get out there and Bing that, Google that. A lot of good stuff about that risk tolerance, but it's all around your active risk management. And I stress strongly it's around the level of tolerance your customer has for accepting risks on the project. How do you deal with a micromanager customer on your project? Yeah, one of my customers asked me about that the other day. And basically they're saying that the customer is on every meeting and really active and wanting to know this and wanting to know down to the minute. And so really, when you think about micromanagers, you really have to step back and say, a lot of this has to do with the risk tolerance level, right? And so, customers that have a low risk tolerance will tend to be micromanagers because they're worried about everything. And so how do you deal with that? Well, you're going to have to work with your customer, and you're going to have to build that level of trust, right? Once you start delivering, you'll find that risk tolerance eases up a little bit. once you hit status dates that you said you would hit, and you hit deliverable dates you said you would hit, and the project's executing nicely, then very, very quickly that risk tolerance or that micromanagement is going to lighten up. The other thing you do with micromanagers is you give them lots of documentation. You give them lots of access to how the project's executing, so that way they know that they can check and they can see real time where the project's executing. So micromanagers are hard. They're really difficult. I've dealt with a ton of them, and a lot of them is around the trust and the trust level they have with you. But trust is built over time, and over time, micromanagers will calm down as long as they really trust you and they see that you're delivering and hitting those key dates. What are the top terms project managers must know to be successful? I love this question, actually. I love it because project management terms come up all the time. And so there's hundreds of terms in the PMBOK. And I think, hey, to be very successful, you got to know those terms. To pass the PMB, you got to know those terms. But I think that's a great starting point. When you say risk management, issue management, procurement, communications, right? Human resources, right? These are all kind of the DNA of a project manager. So, the top terms is I would go to the PMBOK, look at all the terms there, look at the glossary there, and really get that rooted in your execution of your projects. Will that help you be successful? Sure it will be, because when someone says to you, hey, you got to do procurement management, you got to do issue management, you got to do risk management, you know exactly what that means, and then you could put the processes in place to really help drive that through. So I love that. I think that that's a great question. And so again, I look to the PMBOK as your source of terms, but there's Google terms, Bing terms, but basically there's lots of places where you can get that, but I'd use the PMBOK as your starting point. My name is Bill Dow. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching. And I hope these helps. They seem to be very, very successful. So thank you again, and I'll see you online. Thanks.